You were born to thrive. You were born to feel alive. Every single second of your life, your life, your life, your life. Hello, welcome everyone to this new episode of Success Stories of Expat Women. They did it, and so can you. My name is Eva Sanders. I'm an inspirational singer and songwriter, as you could hear. So if ever you organize an event and you need inspirational music, I'm here. Get in touch with me. I'm also an empowerment coach, helping especially expat women to thrive on every level, especially professional level, because let us face it, when we move from one country to another, a lot of things shift. And there is a moment of like a readjustment, and we can feel lost, and we can experience setbacks, we can experience rejection, and it's not pleasant, and it can rob us of our confidence, self-esteem, and of this feeling why we are here. Is it, Astrid Gregorian? Is it true? Have you experienced
Yeah.
this already?
Hello, Eva. It is really, really very, very true. And it is believed that immigration is something similar like, is a loss. Is when you lose your loved ones or, parents or friends. So it is believed in psychology at the same level of intensivity to move from one country to another.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I have never heard this comparison, but actually, that's true. It's like losing a part of my identity, my friends, my family, my social circle, and this what I built and which is known and which is like secure, going into the unknown, which can be very scary. And that's interesting to compare it to loss, to this kind of loss. Wow. Astrid, I am so pleased that you accepted this invitation to our success stories series. So let us start at the beginning. Let us start with your story. Where are you from originally? What brought you to Switzerland? How long have you been there? And where do you live exactly?
Thanks, Eva, for invitation. I think your series are very inspirational and will give the insights and the hope for women who just moved or moved several years ago, even to find themselves and to understand really that everything is possible. And even though
Thank
you
you.
feel yourself lost now, so it is possible. If we could do it, so they could
Absolutely.
also, they can also. Originally, I'm from Armenia. I'm of Armenian origin. And it's been like 22 years already that I moved to Switzerland.
Wow.
Now I moved to Switzerland because of the work of my husband,
Mm-hmm.
who was assigned with the United Nations. And of course, it was at the beginning very, inspiring and excited like event for our young family. When I arrived to Geneva, the heart of Europe, it was not like I imagined for myself, especially with a 2-year-old boy who is
Wow.
now 24 years old. Yeah.
Wow. So it was, well, it should, I imagine it was pretty challenging for you to change the country, change the language, and to be a young mom at the same time. How did you deal with all of these challenges and changes at that time?
I will not say that it was easy,
Mm.
not at all. Even though I didn't know a person here,
Wow.
so I from Armenia, I had only one contact of a contact who advised me to meet that lady. And even to find a doctor or pediatrician for my son, it was a challenge. I didn't know that I have to open a thick book and look through the doctors and find the one who is next to our building or to our address without even knowing the person. Meanwhile in Armenia it was everything settled, and you have your network already, and you know to whom and for which kind of questions you can address. So here for me it was like arriving to to an island where I don't know anybody.
Could you speak the language at the time?
So miraculously, I started to learn French at the end, at the last years of university. I don't know why, but I had this calling for French, and then I had the basic knowledge of French as well. That was something which was very helpful, but of course I was always asked then, do you speak another language? So it was something very, when I did the effort to speak French, I was asked to speak another language. And for me, it was very difficult to accept that there is maybe a little bit less of tolerance towards people who do not speak perfect French.
Yeah. So how was it to suddenly find yourself in a new country with a little baby?
That was at that time very not even harsh, but it was very difficult because I had all these, young years dreams to fulfill, and to find the job as well, and then to integrate to new country, to travel, to to learn more about the culture. But all of a sudden I was faced with a very, basic problems that I didn't have in Armenia before, like, for example, to find or a babysitter or a garderie or nursery for my kid. It was quite a challenge, and I didn't know how to find. I still remember the time when I was invited to an interview and my son decided to have a siesta just in the middle of the day, so I couldn't go to a job interview. And I felt devastated. I felt hopeless and helpless.
So how did you deal with all these? Maybe we can name it failures. How did you deal with all these disappointments and frustration and failures? How did you deal with it?
I call it the errors and tries method.
Okay.
So I was always in a search. I was always trying to find a new place, a new kindergarten to visit, or new park to visit with my son, so that I can meet people, and then eventually he can play with children as well.
Yeah.
Because he was isolated too. In Armenia, he was surrounded with cousins, with grandparents, with aunts and uncles. And here he was isolated and felt alone. So I started just little by little finding the places where he could play. For an hour or half an hour. And you will not even believe, but the first place I could find for him to play was the McDonald's. And I still remember that feeling where I I wouldn't like to buy for him like Coca-Cola or some
Yeah.
other stuff, but it was the perfect place to play for him.
Mm.
And little by little, I went to Armenian mission where people introduced me to the
Mhm.
Swiss system, and gave me recommendations and advices how to find the kindergarten for my son.
Yeah.
So I found just 2-3 hours
Mhm.
per day option where he could
Yeah.
visit, and I could also go to learn more language, or to language courses, or to uh, meet some new people.
Yeah, what you said is really, really important for anyone who relocated recently. One, go to the places where you can create connections. You created connections for your son, so you went to the parks, to McDonald's, just to meet people, not to remain isolated, which is so important. When we are isolated, very fast, we just feel
Yeah.
down. We feel desperate, especially when we don't have any advice or help with current everyday life situations because we just don't know yet how to go about it, where to go, what to do. So yes, definitely networking, going there to the places where I can meet like-minded people. And the second one, to connect with people from your country in a new country, as you said, Armenian mission. So people who perfectly understand your situation, who are from your country. Very often there is this kind of solidarity between people from the same country when we live abroad. So they can share their tips, their tools, their network. They can answer your questions. So that's real, very important to basic steps. Okay, so now we see that your son would be taken care of a few hours a day, and you definitely wanted to get out and also to get on your feet and to also contribute and to have a job. How did you go about finding a job? And maybe we can start. What did you study at university? What was like your background, and how it transformed into a profession in Switzerland?
I have the background in economic relations, and in Armenia, I've been already settled in my job. So I've been working during my university years as a journalist,
Mhm.
covering economic situation in Armenia. And then afterwards, I joined a Swiss trading company representative in Armenia, Glencore.
Mhm.
So I had already the experience of a Swiss company. So I started to apply with the companies here, and especially so you prepare your CVs and resumes to employ in how you call them, recruitment offices,
Mhm.
recruitment agencies. I was very often asked to come to an interview, but before, when my son was not like in the kindergarten, it was very difficult. It was challenging even to go to an interview.
Yes.
Yeah, so I started to apply for jobs and discover what kind of companies we have here in Geneva, and enjoy the interviews, and discovering myself in the interviews as well.
Mhm.
What I faced here, that I was, with my education and background, even back to that time when I was 25, 26, I was overqualified for the jobs. And that was the frustration that
Yeah.
I had the first. I was often thinking that, oh my God, I would prefer to have just, maybe undergraduate education and
Yeah.
not the graduate one, so that I can have a job easier than now.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was recruited as of the first year of, I mean, the second year of my uh, séjour.
Stay in.
Stay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So it took around a year, a bit more than a year to find a
A
job.
bit more than
Yeah.
a year and a half, we could
Mhm.
say, with some language proficiency
Yes.
courses as well. I sat also for the exams of the Français. I forgot already all this
Mhm.
stuff, but it was Alliance Française,
Yes.
where I sat for the exam. And then after having gained this confidence in language,
Yeah.
I was already eligible for local jobs as well.
Yeah. So what was it? What was your first job?
My first job was with the High Jewelry and Horology Office
Hmm.
in Geneva, and I really enjoyed, and that was quite a challenging job as well for me, working with very big numbers, figures, and doing import and export of high horology and jewelry with the world, and also managing the inventory of the company. So that was the job with a big responsibility. But since I've been used to big figures and
Yeah.
numbers in Armenia, so for me it was very okay to work in such a company.
You were not overqualified for this job. Actually,
No,
you were lucky enough to start at the level of your education and experience, because sometimes when women come to Switzerland and they want to work, they just start lower just to get a
mhm.
job, and then they work themselves up. But you had this chance to already start with something that was challenging and probably also exciting for you.
Yes, for sure. It was exciting and challenging at the same time. And I didn't start from the
Yeah.
lowest place. But it is also okay to start from the lowest
Hmm.
place
Hmm.
and to start from scratch. And I did several times as well during my stay in Switzerland. So
Oh,
life
that's
can be like
interesting.
that.
Tell us,
Yes, sure.
tell us about this. That's interesting. So when you decided to leave this kind of profession, what happened? Why? What did tell us more about?
Well, the thing is that you are not secured from any changes in your life, and
Mhm.
what helped me that I'm quite flexible and I have the open nature and spirit to learn something new and to experiment. So this is what really helped me. If you may ask what really helped me to go through all these challenges, this is the open spirit and desire to experiment and to learn new stuff and to meet new people and even try different spheres or industries. So with my nature, it was no surprise that I was eager to change, especially when I had the maternity leave and was being prepared to become mother for the second time.
Okay.
Well, so I left the job,
Okay.
and then I decided that, having a job from 9 to 6, it was quite a challenge as well with a small boy that
With
I
kids, of
had at
course.
that
Yes.
time.
Mm.
And with my husband traveling very often on missions, on emergency missions with different countries. So I was often left alone with
Mm.
child. And I remember myself finding the babysitters I never ever heard or met before, to ask them to stay with my child when he
Yeah.
was like ill, or I had to go to job. So I started to think, what can I do differently in this situation, because I don't have the support of the family as I used to have in Armenia.
Yes.
And then, I took the maternity leave. So for this time, I decided that I will dedicate myself for longer time to stay with my daughter.
Mhm.
When at that time I had the idea that I will dedicate my time, like 3 years of my life, to raising and being together with her. But meanwhile, I never stopped searching for new opportunities, or a new as well, which could be more eligible, which could have more flexible hours.
Yes.
And when you're searching for something, it comes to your way. I met unexpectedly down my building when I used to live for 14-15 years in Geneva, the lady who I met during the language courses. So
Okay.
this is the importance of this
That's
networking that you
working.
get.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, you never know when you can meet a person
Absolutely.
which you met before.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, they were looking for a lady who could assist them in their newly based IT company.
Okay.
And that was me.
Wow.
And yeah, and that was me. And I will not hide that it was very for me a lucky event as well, to meet this lady. And to have a coffee first, to have a coffee there downstairs, which I didn't have usually, and
Okay.
then to meet her, and accidentally she passed through this place. What I want to mention here, that when you search for something, it comes your way.
Mm.
And I was searching for a job with more flexible
Flexibility.
hours,
Mm.
where I could take my kids to school and then stay there until they are finished, and then fetch them
Yes.
from the school. So this is more or less the beginning of my story.
Okay. What happened next?
What happened next? The next, I continued to search again, and
Okay.
as my dream was to work more flexible hours and not to be dependent on the office hours, so I was thinking to create my own company.
Mm-hmm.
And then I understood that there was some lack of knowledge which I would like to fill in.
Yeah.
And then this is what brought me to business school in Lausanne,
Okay.
where I thought I could gain more information, more knowledge on how to settle a company, and what are the main details, or not the details, main spheres that you need to pay
Yes.
attention to before. Yeah. I had then different ideas for creating a company, starting from like business solutions for overweight and obese children,
Mm-hmm.
and then creating maybe a travel agency, but medical travel agency from CIS countries to Switzerland. But again, as I said, when you search for something, it comes your way. I was surrounded with musicians, and my background also is musical. So I dreamt to become a piano player. and which made that I was always in this, artistic people atmosphere and surroundings. But when I saw these people struggling so much with
Yes.
such a great talent,
Yes.
I felt that I can be of help for them.
Yeah.
So I started to help them to create the strategy for their career development, and then to create promo materials for the agencies they were applying to recruit them or to book the gigs for them. And one day I received a call from a friend who recommended another friend. So I heard the music he composed and the arrangements he did, and I literally fell in love with it.
Wow.
I fell in love with this uncompleted MP3, and so I thought that it was the music of my soul, and decided to help this small group to develop. So this is how my independent work started, with the passion, with the love, and with the desire to help those gifted and talented musicians.
So you became kind of manager for music groups?
Yeah.
In Switzerland or
I became internationally.
Okay.
I started from the group which I was talking to you. So it was a very interesting music, a mix of Armenian medieval music with fusion and classical music.
Wow.
And so all my background in economics and business administration, which I earned also while working and then at the business school, I applied to the development of this unknown group yet, and we did quite success at that.
Wow, amazing! Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
What I love about your story is that that you are willing to look for something. You say, okay, I am here and I want this. So you open yourself and you will look for it. And you have this trust, this confidence that if you're open and you look for it, it will appear. And also you listen like to your callings. You love music, you love serving, and you combine these passions in a business which was supporting others to shine, supporting very talented people who don't have this background and gifts in organizing, in promoting, in selling themselves and helping them. Okay, where is the story today? Where are you today? What do you do still the same thing? What happened next, and where are you today?
So what happened next? It is the evolution, right? If you do not grow, so you stagnate. If you stagnate, so you decline and you do not grow, right? And for me, my value, one of the values is to grow. So my thinking went even further. I thought that at some particular point, I understood that not only the artistic people need work and need help and or to discover their talents, but also I call them normal, regular people like we are also need this support, and they also have talents and they would like to go further to understand what are their callings and what are their talents. And what can they offer to this world and how? So this is how I came to mentoring of freelancers or people who are in the change of their career or in the mid life crisis, who want to find something new about themselves, and everything seems blurred for them,
Yeah.
and they don't have more clarity to where to go and what's next. So to help them to connect with their inner self and with their inner power, so that they can one day they can find their talents to them, and then make out of their talents the best they can to offer to this world and to share.
Oh, wow. So it looks like a kind of maybe a life coach, life mission coach, with all this background in business of also supporting this business part, is it?
Yeah. So that's why for the moment I call myself mentor for business and personal development, and I help executives, entrepreneurs, freelancers, or experts to take their life and business to the next level. With
Wow.
all this background, right?
Well, what I love that you followed your passion. So I'm sure you're also very sensitive to feel the right thing for other people. When you ask them questions, yeah, I'm sure that you can like, oh yeah, this is the right thing. This is the right thing. This is you. Can you feel it? Is it?
You're right. You're right. I think
Mm.
you're also the same, so that you sensed it. Because yeah, the empathetic people,
Absolutely.
they see each other from very far,
Yes.
and they often call me visionary, and that's because sometimes even they go to do some astrological predictions or something like that, connected to their professional
Yeah.
orientation or something else. But I have told them already before, so they go and connect with the stars to make the comparison. But almost points I match with the stars.
Yeah, that's a gift. That's a gift to feel other people's
Yeah,
potential, to
yeah.
and to be able to put the right words on it. And I do
um,
believe, yes, say.
uh, there is my experience shows that the people like you and me, we can feel that, but the thing is that we need to restrain for telling them in advance, because it will deprive them from the path to go through and to discover themselves. So this is also one of the tricks that I learned for myself, just to wait until to create the space and secure space for those people to discover themselves and to enjoy this process of discovery and unleashing their inner power and their inner talents.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of this. That's so important. And it's always such a big gift when we find it ourselves, when it comes from within. Because if it comes from, it's like birth from within. When it's born from within, then no one can take it away because we know it.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm.
You're very, very right here, because everybody has to find on their own their inner self. Because if it comes from the outer world, they will not own it in a way, the same
No,
way that if they have
no,
discovered
that's
themselves.
an experience. That's knowing versus experience. When it's experienced within you, then you know it. When it's
Yeah,
just when
yeah.
it's just spoken to your head, you can
Mhm.
understand it. But sometimes understanding is not enough. We need to go through this experience so we can
Exactly.
open and really create something in the material world. Wow.
This
So
is the beauty of life.
I do believe that your role is very important for expats and expat women generally, because as you said very well at the beginning, like that's a loss. Going from one country to another, leaving alone, leaving behind what was before, it's a loss. So it's a huge moment of like reevaluation. Who am I? What do I really want? Sometimes it's kind of really having this feeling of losing oneself. So the role of mentor or coach who can be there like mirroring and helping you through this period, helping you to connect with who you truly are at this moment of your life, because of course we are evolving. It's really crucial. How can people connect with you? Maybe it's someone in our audience is like, oh wow, what she's doing is really important and interesting. I'd like to get in touch with her. How can people get in touch with you? How do you work? How can they get in touch with you?
I often organize like group coaching sessions and
Mhm.
also individual accompanying program. I have the program which like almost well like more than 300 people went through
Mhm.
already. And then I organized the master classes, the offline, which was started like as of beginning of the January, and
Yeah.
the coming master class on the importance of networking and meeting new people will be held in Lausanne on June 30 in Impact Hub, the innovative collaboration space and business accelerator. So if we have in your audience someone who is interested, I would be thrilled to meet them. Otherwise, I have my business page on Facebook and also on Instagram.
Amazing. So we will drop links. We will also announce the event of, is it 13 July? Is it in Lausanne?
30 of June,
Oh, sorry, I didn't get it. Okay,
like
30 of
in
June.
10 days. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so we will announce it and it will be perfect because this interview will be released next week, just before, just on time.
Before.
So we will put the links and everything. So if there's
Great.
anyone interested, just get out, challenge yourself. Maybe it's
Yes.
not easy. It's, oh, I don't feel it, like, go. When you push yourself a little bit, getting out, meeting people, you will feel how rewarding it is for you and how it will open you to new opportunities. So I just challenge you, do it. Do it, even though it's like, oh, maybe, yeah, no, go, 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 go. That's so important. Thank you. Yeah,
It it
something
is
else. Yes?
not for for nothing that they say that showing up is a 50% of the job to be done.
Wow. Showing up is 50% of job being
Showing up.
done. Absolutely. Astrid, thank you very much. It's like meeting a soul companion on my journey. I'm very, very grateful you
Thank
accepted
you.
my invitation. Before we say goodbye to each other, very last question. What would you advise to expat women who relocated maybe recently, maybe not that recently, but who are still experiencing this loneliness, hardship, feeling down, rejections? What would you advise them?
Of course, it is not easy to face all these rejections and hardships and loneliness. Firstly, what I would recommend is to accept it. Not, we said earlier that it is a loss, but it is also a blessing as well. So why it is a blessing? So because you can go and as you said, and discover yourself, your true self. I used to say that living in Geneva, the first years for me, it was like living on Tibet, because I was so isolated as I could be, or meditating on the top of the mountain. But it was also the blessing, because this is where all my thinking started to work in a different way, in a way that I can also be useful. So what they can think, the ladies who are listening now, to think what they can give already now, because they have a lot of gifts in themselves, but they have forgotten about them. So finding their gifts and their callings, it is the first step to do, and then to go out and to show up and to meet like-minded people, even though they are hesitant and they are reluctant and don't want really to meet, thinking that they are not enough, or they don't have something interesting to tell, or they haven't achieved the heights the others achieved. But please don't compare to anyone, and go out, as Eve already mentioned,
Thank you.
and
I love it
find a
so much.
mentor or a coach who went through this already.
Yeah, don't compare it to anyone. You are unique. You are beautiful as you are. You have beautiful gifts, and there is a space exactly for you. This is what I do believe. There is a space for your unique gifts to shine around, and this is true. Astrid, thank you very much. I just would like you to tell us 2 or 3 words about this painting behind you, because I love it. What is
So
it?
this painting has a very interesting story behind. It is painted by my sister-in-law, who is a financial specialist, and she's also an expat. She came like maybe 2-3 years after we arrived to Switzerland, and all of a sudden she has found her inner talent, so she started to draw. And now she's organizing the galleries and the exhibitions of Armenian artists, of some other international artists as well, in Zurich, in Lucerne, in Zug. And this painting was painted especially on my demand, on my request, at the time when I had the injury of my left hand. I had it broken, and I've been like going through a surgery, so I needed more sun, and this is what I asked her as a present during this period, and this is what we have now. And it also inspires other ladies when they are on a call with me. And even one lady during the masterclass and mastermind with the question, what is next? She didn't need to go further. She understood that she needs some spiritual guidance. And after the mastermind, she was there, and she found her teacher.
Wow, I just love it because it's so radiating. It's really radiating. I can feel it even through the screen.
Thank you.
Astrid, thank you very much. I'm sure this will be one of our next guests. Coming
I
from
hope so, yeah.
finances to being an artist and painting, for me, like this inspiring art that elevates us, that opens us to something greater within ourselves. Thank you very
Great.
much, Astrid. I
Thank
wish
you.
you so much fulfillment and happiness when you mentor and accompany other people. That's a pleasure and honor having you here. And now, just a little reminder to everyone, you were born to thrive. If it is hard right now, it can be. Don't beat yourself. Just recognize it's hard. Do not remain alone. If you feel like it is right for you, get in touch with me. I offer you 45 minutes clarity session for free. No string attached. What does it mean? That I will not sell you anything at the end. We will just talk. I'll ask you a question. I will listen to you. I will reflect, and we will see what are right next steps for you. So you not start, I would say you keep going on this path of thriving. You were born to thrive. Do not remain alone. Get in touch with me if you feel it's right. Send me a direct message and we will take time together. Remember, you were born to thrive. Thank you, Astrid. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.